Build a character that's dangerous yet graceful. Everything in life boils down to one thing, man: character. Every single thing that you do, think, act, whatever, it boils down to that. Because it's who you are. And it's one of the hardest things to build because it requires so much of time and effort and focus onto that one thing. And that's what I've been building so far over the past 3 years. And most of the time, it was something that I never realized doing. And it was only recently that I made it a conscious decision to work on every aspect of my character so that I transform it into something dangerous yet graceful. That's the thing. You must have the good and the bad. And this is what success to me looks like: character. That's all I care about. And so, what does a dangerous yet graceful character look like? In my opinion, at least. It's not about acting in a certain way or speaking in a certain way, but everything boils down to how you see the world. Because that alone will change how you carry yourself, how you speak, the things you do, everything. One thing that I've been realizing personally, like before I get onto the character side of things, is that when it comes to life, people will change everything in their lives but how they see the world. Because it's not easy. It's not easy to come to a point where you tell yourself that everything that I'm seeing isn't real. Because the truth is never the truth. The truth is a personal thing. It's subjective. It's weird, right? But if you can come to the decision where you think like that, you're open, that's when things change. So now about the character part. What does a dangerous yet graceful character look like? So there are a bunch of traits, but these are the things that I'm building personally in my life. So if I were to break down what this character looks like, well, I'm using me as an example. First of all, this character has a deep level of comfort under any sort of pressure, because pressure breaks people. Whether it's social pressure, work pressure, or anything that's happening in a situation that increases your heart rate and makes you panic. The moment you tell yourself that everything is good, nothing is actually happening, and you observe things clearly, that's a dangerous skill. And it's not something that many are born with. Sadly, not me at least, because I was scared of everything growing up. I feared responsibility, I feared authority, I feared doing the next thing. And even with that weakness, even though it's not a weakness, I just see it as a thing to work on. And that's what I've been doing. Every single day, it's all about crossing these pressure thresholds. And honestly, the main pressure thresholds that I have right now is working a sales role, working with high level people, speaking to strangers, having conversation with cute girls. Like, these things aren't just about chasing an outcome. Like, especially for the cute girls, for instance, most people want to sound smooth, get their number, or those things, like chase the outcomes. But for me, it's all about staying comfortable under that moment of pressure. And that builds a muscle that allows you to make harder decisions in life later on, that allows you to enter rooms and own them. Because as you do this, it reinforces that perspective that you have on the world. Every time you put in a rep, it steps up. The perspective steps up. And that alone changes everything. Once you start realizing that crowds don't matter, the girls don't matter, the outcome doesn't matter, this high level guy doesn't matter, you'll realize the true power of just being comfortable under pressure. You see yourself completely differently. So that's just one of many. And it's the most important one in my opinion. Now, the second trait, which is something that I've been struggling to work on: fluidity. This is where the graceful part comes in. When it comes to building a strong character, most people picture this super disciplined guy who's hardworking, grinding his ass out. But that's an identity. You gotta know that character and identity are two very different things. And I've been reading a lot of literature about this. And reading is one thing and application is another thing. Like, for instance, I've been rereading the 48 Laws of Power for God knows how many times. I've been listening to a bunch of podcasts by Robert Greene, who just knows a shit ton about all this character stuff and being fluid. It's an art, really. And about that identity, once you picture yourself as this hardworking guy grinding his ass out, you are fixing yourself to one thing. This is how I'm going to live my life. This is how I'm going to be. This is who I am. And once that happens, when you enter different situations that require different versions of yourself, that require you to bend things, and not literally bend things, but bend emotions, bend words, bend actions. And even if these things go against your self belief, that's what I mean by fluid. Like Bruce Lee always likes to say it, be like water. You take up the thing that you enter, you become the thing that you take up. When you pour water into the glass, the water becomes the glass. Even though the water may not like it, it just does it. That's what I've been working on lately. It's mainly about going against my feelings and loosening up. I've been grinding for so long, being in this disciplined space for so long, and I haven't really loosened up a bit. When you're really hyper aware, you think that being light is a bad thing, but it isn't, because being light can come from a place of control. And that's the gap that I'm trying to bridge. Being light, yet coming from a place of control, which ties back to the whole discipline equation. And about going against my feelings. Being a school kid, realizing that traditional education isn't the best. Actually, it isn't good at all. In my opinion, that traditional education is only good for socializing. Go to school, talk to people, meet people. That's all. And whenever people come and question me, tell me that I'm wrong and this and that, bunch of shit. In that moment of time, I feel so much of frustration and a bit of anger to prove myself. But that's the thing. It's an ego thing. And one who has a fluid character knows that it's all about going against your emotions, doing things that are against your self-belief. And now I'm trying to train myself to stop being, showing this side of me, this ambitious side of me. Even though it hurts me, of course it does hurt me every time I get educated by all this stuff, by people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, who don't know what they're even doing in life. They just have some status and they're just telling me what to do based on what they think is right. Now it's really about training myself to shut the fuck up and just be internally comfortable without having the need to prove. Because that's power, that's strength, that's being graceful. Because if you think about it, if you have enough interactions like that, you get to know more about the other person than proving yourself, which messes things up. So that's one example of being fluid, which is really about going against your emotions. A second example of being fluid is the ability to bend your emotions. I wouldn't call it faking it, but it's more of acting. Personally, being in solitude for a very long time, I've gotten to the point where I can fabricate emotions just like that. A fake smile that looks genuine, a fake cry that looks genuine. I don't get angry, but it's a lot of emotions that I've been unconsciously building in the back room, which has kind of allowed me to be fluid in a lot of rooms. Like even in school, like the people that I meet up with aren't ambitious at all. They're just normal people who are doing the normal things, following the traditional path. And if I were to go in there and talk about the grind and discipline and whatever that I'm building, they'll just be clueless. I'll seem like the stupid one. Because it's simple psychology, right? People follow people. And if you're the odd one out, you just seem going against everyone. And that will piss them off. So that's when it comes to me bending my emotions. And bending my emotions, it's so painful at the start. When I started all this, it cracked my ego like no one's business. But that's the thing. You gotta bend your emotions, you gotta destroy that ego, and the most important thing is going against your feelings. That's where fluidity is trained and built. You don't come to this earth with fluidity installed in your inventory. It's something that you train. And it all stems from just going against your feelings. And once you train this part, it's easier for you to handle different situations better. So when you're talking to authority figures, youngsters, old people, and even people who don't really matter, like insignificant authorities, for instance. Like I have teachers in school that I don't really like because they just talk too much and question me so much about every single decision that I do because I'm failing at school. But they don't know about all this. And an older version of me would be proving that to them. But that's when that fluidity comes in. It's just accepting that and letting that out. And then switching the frame to them. It's about making them feel greater than who they are right now. That's what a fluid character is able to do. It's to deflect all these negative things. Not deflect away, but deflect towards the other person. And one more skill I would like to add for character. So I've covered comfort under pressure, being fluid, and a skill. If you want to survive in this world, you got to understand people. And that's why you need to know about human intelligence. Human intelligence, when I mean that, is everything you can think about the modern human being. Body language, the human mind, how to influence, how to persuade, how to have conversations. It's a skill that you build that improves your character exponentially. Because once you see humans differently, once you are able to decode behavior, to persuade gracefully, everything ties back to the three things that I talked about. Was it two things? Yeah, two things that I talked about. Comfort under pressure and being fluid. Once you're able to find a deeper sense of comfort under any sort of pressure, and just comfort in general, once you're able to build that fluidity in your character, you combine these two things with that skill, human intelligence, and you become so deadly. Because you're reading through people. You see through them literally. You can see their suffering. You can feel their words. And once you do that, imagine what you can do to rooms, crowds, and you basically have the whole world in your fingertips. I'm not saying this like I'm going to run for president one day or something, but it is true. It is possible for someone to do that, but it requires so much of time into just these three things. You don't do anything else in your life. Make sure you focus on health and these three things if you want to build character. And building character is the most boring, frustrating thing ever because it is a time thing. You don't build it in one day, but you build it in a decade. And you build it through putting yourself in situations that break you. And you force yourself to stay composed, to observe, to be aware of your thoughts, your choices, all those things. And maybe even half that, you can build character, a solid character in 5 years. And maybe if you put in the work every day, make that 2.5. And if you're even starting out, make that 1. And it's all about building. And that, in my opinion, that's what builds character. And this is what a strong character looks like this is how a strong character looks like to me. And this is the exact model that I'm building. I already have these traits naturally, some of them, but now it's about peeling back the layers and seeing where the rotten parts are and just taking them out and improving them. And you slowly do it day by day. And you improve and you get better and you become more dangerous and graceful. So to just end off the video, I feel that human beings should never be one thing. As a human, as a person, with the character that you have, the character is an internal thing, by the way. It's an art. Danger is an art. Being graceful is an art. You must always have those two things to build power, the good and the bad. You do that, man, you're in for a ride. So I hope this helped anyone watching. Ciao.